Thanks for tuning in to the Arguably Awesome podcast. Today we've got a very special host with us. We got Max Cook in the house, famous voice actor, voice of Chester Cheetah since 2017, illustrator, director, you name it. A.CARD, tell him what's up, bro.
Um, I don't know what to say. You said everything.
You have your own podcast and you don't know what to say.
I always wing it.
Well, yeah, with that being said, cue the intro.
I mean, I guess we can use this. This is the first time we're actually using this StreamYard thing.
I tried to get you
I'm a
on
little
here, man,
hesitant.
like all week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those are all of A.CARD's frozen faces.
I appreciate it actually. I think that should just be how we go about it. Is
Really.
like, hey gang,
Well, I'm in no
welcome
rush
back.
if you want to reboot, Anthony, or whatever.
Do you need to move to like a different spot in the house?
Do you think it would work if I reboot?
Well, it always helps to reboot.
I don't think so. I think it's this camera. I think it's
Like you're
my
getting latency
computer's
between
like
the
from
camera.
2011, so that might be the reason.
Oh, that could be a problem.
Yeah, he is using some pretty outdated stuff there, man.
Yeah, it works fine with the other stuff we were using. Oh well.
Let's see. Oh, Max has a nice backdrop. Nice. And his is real. Mine is fucking fake.
Yeah, I don't know how to do what you guys are doing. I'm so stupid when it comes to green screens and stuff. I don't know what I'm doing.
Is that a 48-volt
Yeah,
microphone, Max?
my
Because
wife
that
bought
is
this
incredible.
big ass one.
It's just a Shure.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
nothing
great.
fancy. Good.
It's too early in the morning for me to be drinking some second cup of tea here.
Oh yeah, I'm mimosa. That's what I'm
See,
doing.
if I had had the champagne and orange juice,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
that wouldn't have been a bad idea.
Always have it in stock.
Can't wait to
Bloody
talk
Mary
to you more
for me.
about your alcohol habits. You know, A.CARD, how you feeling, bro? Like, what do you think, man? You're still jumping around on my screen, man. I'm cool with rolling with it
Is
if
my
you are, but I know
audio
you said you
lagging? Like,
want to
am
look
I
better.
responding to your things later on?
I don't. No, I think your audio is actually like pretty decent sync. I mean, we ask you a question and maybe like a couple seconds after you're on it.
I'm
Maybe.
OCD, so this is really bothering me right now. This.
Yeah, me too.
Hey.
I'm OCD and I'm sweating you. I want to see you. I want to see you move around.
We want
Does
you.
your wife,
We
does
want
your
you real
wife have
time,
a
bro.
work computer?
Oh, that's true. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna ask her if I can use it.
This is why we gotta
Yeah.
get people on the Patreon, guys. We gotta get this guy a new computer. Step him out of the Bronze Age.
Oh, that
God.
set just brings back so many memories.
I know.
So many memories. I mean, I came of age to that show. That's where I first learned about my libido. Hey, are we allowed to how are we allowed to like curse? I won't.
We already we make it so that our podcast is explicit. Like you got to be over 18 to
Oh,
watch it on
cool.
YouTube. We
Oh,
say all
great.
sorts of stuff, so you can get gnarly, man.
Oh, good. I like getting gnarly. So it's Eric, right? It's Eric, but it's Eric.
You got it right. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. I actually went on to see if I could get the pronunciation on Google, and it was no pronunciation. So did your parents just say, "Screw it, we're gonna just fuck with them"? And
So I think what honestly happened is my grandfather, Grandpa Joe, he named my dad Eric, and I don't know if he was going off of like some Nordic spelling, like Auric, like AURIC,
right.
or something like
Right.
that. But then my dad, he's just so vain. He was like, I'm gonna name that little sucker Eric Jr. And I mean, I just tell people, yeah, that basically it's like I'm like royalty in other countries or something like
It's
that.
cool. It's a cool name. It's like, I like it.
Thank,
I
thank
like
you.
the C's and the A's and the Y's and the R's and the I's.
I just thought that like if I were to ever like do famous stuff, like I know people like change their names for famous stuff, but man, I would maybe change the last name because I think Eric like that is just unique, man. I
What
hate
is
to
your
lose
last
that.
name?
Thomas. I mean,
Oh yeah.
drop
No,
that
that's a
for something
great name.
cooler.
That's
Really?
a great name. Yeah, it's a good host name too. Eric Thomas with the AY. Yeah,
Yeah,
I pay attention to that. Too.
might have to drop that whole like airflow thing and start doing like my actual name at some point.
Yeah, it's rad. And then also, if you ever get into like a union like SAG or something, you
Yeah.
know, you'll win because there's probably already an Eric Thomas in SAG. You know, if you have the
Oh.
same name with someone, you can't have it. You either have to add your middle name in or change your name. So that's why I'm not. You know, I was born Jeff Cook. I hate that name anyway.
Just flash alarm.
Yeah. Just have that be. what
That's
we're
it.
looking
That's what people are looking at the whole time. It's just this arm right here. You've been working out. Look at that bicep. No.
So you guys are in Oregon?
Yeah, yeah. I'm out here in
Oh.
Portland, and he's a little further out in the Gresham area. If that sounds
Gresham.
familiar.
Oh, I love the Pacific. I lived in Seattle for only a year in the 90s, and I loved it.
Oh man, I
miss
have
it a
never
lot.
been as close as I am. I've never been, but I want to take like a train trip up there one of these days.
Oh, yeah. Go visit Lake Washington. I ran a video store on the lake. So you had all the lake weirdos coming in renting movies. That's a different kind of folk.
Now, Max, you mentioned earlier with the names that you originally were born Jeff, but you never really cared for that. Where did you get the inspiration for Max from? I mean, I'm sure you probably had to like do a little bit of like for SAG, like you were talking about.
Yeah, well, my dad was killed before I was born, right? So I was supposed to be Michael, and my mom was too. I don't think she even remembers birthing me. So my grandma Cook had my dad, who was Brian, and his brother Jeffrey, and Jeffrey was like a criminal, and my dad was a cop. It was, Cain and Abel, if that's the correct reference. So for some reason, I got the Jeffrey name, and I don't know why. So now I'm Jeffrey Bryan. And then, thank God, when I got into SAG, they said, you can't be Jeff Cook. I said, that's great. And I just looked up the family names, and I never knew him, but evidently I had a great uncle Max, who actually was like successful in life versus all my other mutant relatives. So I said, Max, that sounds good. Max, I like the X. I like the M. I like the hardness. So it just, that worked. And now,
Actually, I dig that.
I have so many people from the old days who are like, I can't call you Max. I'm like, that's very disrespectful. You should. But a lot of them come around. Yeah. I don't want to be Jeffrey. That's not who I am. I never felt like a Jeffrey. Hey, how's it going? I'm Jeff. I don't play sports. I'm not a Jeff. 2 F's. It just didn't grab me.
The only Jeff I care about in relation to you is your channeling of Jeff Bridges, man. Carving the pumpkin. It's fucking brilliant.
Oh, God. I saw you were watching videos. I don't think anyone's seen that. What was the video you commented on? Brett Michaels. I don't think anyone's seen that video since I made it.
Really? That's beautiful work. People are dumb. I love that much, man.
People are dumb.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, we hate everybody. We think we're equal opportunists.
Oh,
like,
great.
soldiers.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited.
Just got to remind people that.
Yeah. Yeah, Bridges was fun. Carving pumpkins. I actually carved that pumpkin. But yeah, a lot of those videos you were watching, I was like, who's commenting on this? And it was you.
Dude, I was going down the treasure trove, man. I
With your,
watched the
alter
one.
ego.
Yeah, always. Just deep dive lurking as airflow.
Yeah.
Just like, ooh, this is
that's
fun.
good.
Nice.
That's good if you're going to interview somebody. That's generous of you to look at their crap.
Oh, absolutely. I felt kind of rude at first because like me and Anthony had been watching your videos like back when you were originally posting some of this stuff.
Oh wow.
Right. Like when you were doing a lot of like some of your earlier Tony Soprano stuff, like we were
Yeah.
there for some of that. Like when you dropped the Joker video, was Tony
Wow.
Joker.
Really?
We were like,
That was like
yeah,
2008 or
that's what I'm saying.
9.
It's wild. I'm like looking back at these and I'm like, oh man, I remember this. And I look at the bottom, it's like 15 fucking years ago, and I'm like, oh, damn.
Time's flying.
No kidding, man.
Yeah, no,
but
I've had
loved him.
several people reach out recently, like, "Hey, man, what happened to you? What happened to me?" You know, it's not like I love people who think I died or something.
Right.
It's like,
You know,
all you gotta do is
like
type
Jeff
my name.
Goldblum.
Yeah,
Yeah, he fell off a cliff somewhere in South
I'm
Africa.
still here. I'm just not making YouTube videos
You do
because,
videos like,
in many ways, you know, when Google took over YouTube, you know, they killed the partner program, and that was like such a sting. Because when I first got on YouTube, man, it was like it was content creators, and they loved their creators, and you could make money, and da da da. And then it all just changed when Google, and then they came back. They're like, no, 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 we're gonna do the partner program again. We want you back. And it's like, huh? I had already moved on. But no, I'm
so
not just gonna
how did that
kill
work for
myself.
you?
Yeah.
Like you
How
saw
did what work?
like you saw your partnership with them, like they drop, like all of a sudden you
Yeah,
just
they
weren't
dropped it.
eligible.
Yeah, yeah. They totally took away the eligibility, and any chance to make any money they took away. Not that that was why I was doing it, because I never made much from those videos. I mean, a few went viral, but back then viral meant like 500,000. Now it constitutes a different number. I think if you go viral, like you have to have trillions, and that's what they were saying when Google came along. They're like, you don't have enough views. You're no longer a partner. And I took it as a kind of a fist up the butt. There he is.
Oh my god, it's like a
I think I need to
whole
update my
view.
computer.
Isn't that better now?
Yeah, it's like a
It
transformation.
still
Look at
looks.
this guy.
I look fat.
Fat? No, I am fat. You're a very slight fellow. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Eric, he's fine. Got that beard that covers up.
Yeah, it hides it hides a lot. And then I get the shadow, the hard shadow from the overhead light. So-
Oh yeah.
Does this
Okay.
look, by the way, like I'm in an actual recording booth? I went for it, man. I got the
Yes.
whole like microphone hooked up in the corner.
I've been in many booths that look like that.
I'm the truth in the booth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Anthony. Get that virtual background up.
I don't know if it's
Get the
gonna.
picture
I
back
hope
on.
it's saved on here. Oh, it didn't. Oh well, I can just
Mm.
find it again on Google over here. It wasn't easy finding a background of that. I should have just watched one of my DVDs and screenshot it.
Right. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. Let me do this.
Please,
Boom.
company.
Now it's
I
Max.
could watch
Ha.
that whole series and not get tired of it.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah?
Countless times.
Hold on. I gotta edit this real quick.
And I love that you own it on DVD. I do too. I even own Three's a Crowd.
Was that the sequel?
That was the sequel. It's Jack out on his own, living with a gal.
Hey.
Oh, I thought it was called Jack's Place.
That was the name of his restaurant, Jack Tripper's.
Oh,
Place,
that's
right?
true. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I never watched the sequel, but I think
Why
it
is it
only
just
got
me?
one season or 2 seasons or something.
Yeah, they
Oh,
like
I don't
brought
know.
back. The Ropers had a spinoff too. I think the Ropers appeared in Three's a Crowd. Like suddenly they
Oh,
were
that's
living
true.
again under Jack. I think.
Oh my god, where's the desktop? I
Oh,
don't know. how
cool.
to work
Nobody's
this
face is too
computer.
covered except for mine. Let me just duck under that. It's okay. I was only gonna splash it for a little bit in the beginning and then remove it after like popping the intro. Fuck.
Oh, I knew I should have gone on here an hour earlier.
Yeah, I did, and I'm your guest.
Oh, you got on. You connected.
Yeah,
on
I
an
got
hour
all
ago?
set up. I followed all the
You
directions.
say an hour
said.
earlier?
I switched
sure
over to
didn't.
Chrome. I did it all just for you.
I thought it would be so easy, and man,
never
Eric, you're
easy.
right. I should have got on earlier in the week.
Bro, that's
There
you
you-
know, that's how it goes.
There we
That's how
go.
it goes.
Boom.
Fantastic.
Oh, it looks a lot
nice.
wider now. Okay,
Yeah. Come and knock on our
cool.
door.
So what were you
I
guys
always
talking
wonder if
about?
the-
What did I miss?
Well, first of all, I was telling Eric that your set, your background, Three's Company, you know, we were talking, but it just brings back So I was a latchkey kid, right? You know what that is?
I want to say
Back
yes, but
back in the 70s and early 80s, there were latchkey kids, and we were the kids who tied a key to our apartments, our shitty apartments in Canoga Park, around our necks because I'm living alone with my mom and she's a nurse working triple shifts.
oh,
So I
jeez.
basically had to like raise myself for that period of time. She wasn't monitoring what I'm watching. So I'm watching Three's Company, eating Hungry Man dinners, prime time. I'm 10 years old, and I'm learning all about what a libido is.
Oh
It was
boy! And
crazy. And
those
I fell
girls
in love
wearing
with Joyce DeWitt. Yeah.
those girls wearing the short shorts didn't help.
No. No. And remember when Chrissy was like totally became a different Chrissy? Like Suzanne
Yeah.
started out real
Oh,
blondie,
yeah.
kind of dirty blonde and natural looking and so cute. And then all of a sudden she had the white hair like the dog, those dogs that had not a Shar-Pei, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She got that face going.
Wait, was that the second girl that came in, or are we talking
No, that
about
was
Suzanne
Christy.
Summer?
That was Suzanne's evolution, right? The second girl was Jenna Lee Harrison.
Oh,
And
I kind of
then, yeah, she was cute too. They were all cute. But Janet was my girl. And the guys at school didn't understand why I was so hot for Joyce DeWitt. They're like, she's the ugly one. I said, don't you ever say that again or I'll smack your mouth off.
Good for you. Good for you.
I stood up for
Seriously.
Joyce in elementary school all
She was
the
kind of
time.
spunky. I mean, why wouldn't you like her?
She was spunky.
She was. It was kind of she was kind of tomboyish, but not too tomboy. She had that attitude.
She had an attitude. She had the jet black hair. She had that tremendous backside. She was feisty and fun.
Wow.
Feisty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hotties in the 80s.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
I had a Heather Thomas poster. I wasn't even into blondes, but I had a Heather Thomas poster of her coming out of the jacuzzi in a pink bikini. I had that
Nice.
on my wall up until I had way outgrown like those kinds of chicks. I was like actually dating and going out with girls, and they're like, "Why do you have Heather Thomas in a jacuzzi on your wall?" I'm
Oh,
here.
no.
Just to fill out the space.
Yeah.
Brings them back to the house, and they're like, "Oh, A.CARD." I think you had a similar situation with that Kim Kardashian poster doing the same bit coming out of the pool, right?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, yeah, way back in the day. I still have I still have those posters up in my bedroom, but
Yeah.
my wife sure doesn't like it. She's like, "Oh, why do you have to have this picture here?" I'm like, "To fill up the space." And now there's like a white stain behind it. Not
Oh.
that kind of white stain.
Oh.
The paint has been
Oh, a
discolored.
paint stain, a white
Yeah.
paint stain. Got it.
Yeah, sure.
Now,
sure.
would you
Playing
would you
darts.
take care of yourself to that poster though?
What? Is that what I
Yes, they-
think? Yeah, okay. No, actually, I never did.
Oh,
That's why I won't admit anything on here.
He said, "I plead the fucking fifth, man."
I did actually have Paris Hilton on the back of my door.
I remember
oh
that.
wow.
He'd wake up in the morning, and she's just standing over there in the corner of the room. He's like, "Hey."
It was like 2004. That means it was a long. Well, it doesn't seem that long ago, but I guess almost 20 years ago now.
That's hot.
Time is a dick.
All I know is I know a lot about the 80s when it comes to music and movies and TV shows for the last
Yeah.
20 years, 20 something years. So it's like I lived it twice over.
Yeah.
But I'm envious. You grew up in the 80s.
I came of age in the 80s, man. Yeah, I'm a total 80s dork. I was 10 in 1980. And then, I lost my virginity when I was 16. 1986!
Oh, when you
Oh,
did the
wow.
bathroom Sid Vicious video about the album?
Oh,
wow.
It happened
Right
right
That's
after.
much earlier.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Well, no,
you got
that's
so
probably only a
excited.
couple years earlier. That's probably around 14.
Oh, okay.
The teenager Max. Well,
Yeah, I remember when you
Oh.
uploaded that video, like you uploaded a couple years ago or something, or maybe you had it
Yeah.
on there and you mentioned it.
Well, yeah, I found all this old shit, and then they had those companies where you could just send a box of VHS cassettes, and
Did they ever check
they'd
it?
send you back discs. So
Wow.
then you just rip it off and put it on YouTube and comment on it. I don't know what I was doing.
I did that with some cassette tapes. Maybe I need to do that to my VHS tapes for sure.
You filmed yourself a lot as a kid?
Privately.
Oh boy, I did that too.
No, in middle school and high school, I made short video because before YouTube, I had the urge. I wanted people to see what I'm doing in an appropriate way.
Sure.
Um, but I didn't know how to do it until YouTube came around. Then I was finally able to upload things because I had my mom's work laptop, and I'm like, hey, now I can burn DVDs. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. You
I
can do
know.
all this stuff and experiment.
Those levels of technology that we grew up with, like all of a sudden I can do this now.
I know it was bizarre.
My first camera was like, an 8mm yard sale piece of shit. And I was able to like knock off a few little, but I didn't know what I was doing. And then once, the big clunky Panasonic that I got, that my grandma bought me, that changed everything. But then I became the guy, hey, Max, would you mind taping our show? What? So I would have to like be in the back of the auditorium, like filming my friends' plays. That's where you don't
No.
want to have a video camera.
Oh yeah, then you're like, ah, great. Now I got a
Yeah.
responsibility and it's for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never got paid.
Wow.
Yeah. They don't pay you.
That's sad. I mean, yeah, hey, you got to get your, feet wet somewhere.
That's
Wait,
right.
so did you tell Eric how you well, I know I discovered you in 2009 on YouTube.
That's mind blowing. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
telling Max a little bit about that while you were having the technical difficulties earlier there. I was like,
but
man,
Eric, you don't know how I found him. See, I found him through Raul. You know what Raul?
yeah.
Is that his
Raul,
name, right?
thank you.
Yeah, Monkey and Apple. I don't see much of him anymore. He doesn't really upload a lot.
I
But,
remember him.
yeah,
I
because
used
I
to
see
love
you talk
him.
to him on Instagram sometimes. Him and Jeremiah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never met Jeremiah, but we're actual friends. I wind up in some of his stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
Up until a couple years ago.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, because he's really trying to get as much as he can with talking to
Oh, the
my
conversation?
7-year-old self or something. That was pretty
mean, it's-
interesting. I liked that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's always a
But-
very interesting guy. It's so funny. I'm actually closer to his wife than him. We've talked on the phone a few times, but his wife Magali, oh my God, she's just wonderful. And she came out here, and I actually took her to dinner, and we had a great time. And it's like, I'm out to dinner with Jeremiah McDonald's wife. Where's he?
Yeah, where
Where's
was he?
Back in New York. Ling, 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 ling. That was a good one.
Why didn't he come out? Was he
'Cause
working?
she was out for work, and
Oh.
yeah, I think he was just back at home doing his
He's
thing.
like, oh, a chance to meet Max. You can go. Let me know how it goes. I'm like,
We took a
"Okay."
little selfie and sent it to him. Hey, we're out here. Where are
Oh,
you?
God.
Yeah,
That was
you
weird.
should meet with Raul. He what was the last thing I saw? The Olive Garden. No, it was the Jack Nicholson thing he did. He was reenacting The Shining, where he's talking to that
Yes.
bartender. I was like, what? That's pretty
Yeah.
good. It was
Yeah,
pretty
no,
good.
that's
Yes, I
old stuff.
totally used to watch all that dude stuff, but that was so long ago. I don't. So I talked to him on
It's a
Insta. He's
blast
on
from the past.
Insta. I'll have to seek him out.
Yeah, I thought I saw you.
Did
I
I?
think you follow him.
I do.
Maybe. I don't know. All
Is
I
he
know
still?
I went
Is
to
he
see if
still
had an
Monkey and
Instagram.
Apples?
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
Monkey and Apple.
Okay.
I like his George Costanza. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
George Costanza is something he was doing, but yeah, he did the Joker, and I thought that was really good.
Yes, it
Because
was
everybody was
great.
trying to reenact that
Yes.
interrogate, and he's like playing Batman, so like, oh, dude, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is pretty
Yes,
good.
I do remember that. That was great.
And then I saw your discount version.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put the
Where-
costume in the bag.
As before you got upgraded, you know, that's how YouTube was back then. You either had a good camera in the late 2000s or you were doing it old school. But I was like, oh, I like both of these versions. It's just weird.
Yeah, those videos
I like the
are
weird
so-
YouTube shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for following me all the way back then. That's mind blowing. What an honor.
No, and it was what in 2014 that I brought up the sticky notes on Twitter before I deleted that Twitter account. Unfortunately, I saved any message I talked to famous people. I would save them. I'm like, oh, I gotta save this. So you were like sticky notes, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro sounds like a prime ass premise, and I'm like, but you did it.
Finish him.
You went
Oh,
to New York. You didn't even get to see New York because it was
oh
like a
yeah,
gig.
yeah, that one. Oh wow.
You must do a
Yeah,
lot and don't remember.
yeah. It's true. It's very.
I was like, this is a
Oh my
weird
God,
ad, but I
shots
really
fired,
like
man.
this.
Shots fired. No, but he's absolutely right. There's so much. Do you remember when you did this, and this? People come at me. I'm like, I did. You know,
Wow,
I'm
you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have
I'm
that
old.
video on your channel, so it's a hard video to find. I don't know how Oh, I think it's kind of shared it with you on Twitter, but now that Twitter's deleted because I never was active, and now I cannot. It's lost on the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm terrible on Twitter. I'm barely on there, and I mean, I go on there for news items and stuff, but it's just so ugly and depressing. I'm really
Yeah,
only happy on Insta. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I got off of that in 2020. It was killing me. It
I
was
am so
so
glad to be following you on
obnoxious.
Instagram now. Brightens my day, man.
Oh,
Brightens my
thank
day.
you.
You had me cracking up with the middle finger. It's
Oh
doing
yeah.
fine, thanks. Oh my God, it was amazing, amazing. And then the freaking bloody mattress the other day. Whoa, like oh, wow, all the furniture
Oh,
you find everywhere.
thank you. Yes. Instagram for me, it's a little less about social media and more about curating something that if I die, it'll become a memorial site and it'll be like this was the dude if you missed him.
that's YouTube for
Yes,
me.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
gotta go look at you on YouTube. A.CARD. It's A.CARD TV. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Yeah,
find.
dude, you gotta watch his stuff. You got
I
Anthony.
don't do too many short films anymore. Last one I probably did was 2014. You know, I kind of just do it. I don't want to have that thing where it's like a job. I just do it for fun.
Tell
Oh,
him
you
about the
made short
sandwich, bro.
films? The sandwich? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've made short. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wrote scripts and did it because I was going to an art school, and they like you have to make 3 short films and one documentary or something. So I did that, and then before that, my first video on YouTube was the "Don't Turn Around,
Uh
They're
oh.
Coming Star."
Yeah, yeah.
I did that in 2007. I'm like, you know what? I just got the urge to use a digital camera, and I could use all these effects. So I did that. It looks totally 80s in the video because I got the razor glasses, and the band saw it,
So
the
sick.
video,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they reached out. Well, because I followed them on when MySpace was a thing. I'm like, is this really the band? Because they weren't big anymore.
Are you
Uh,
talking about Falco?
Not
Yeah.
Falco.
Oh no no.
After the Fire, the English version. They did it like a
Oh
year later.
right.
So I talked to the keyboardist Peter Banks. He apparently managed their MySpace, and he's like, "Oh hey," and I'm like, "Well, this is really him." I wasn't skeptical back then, but it was really him. I printed out all our messages, in
Yeah,
memory.
yeah, sure. That's great.
He's like, "I showed it to everybody," and I was like, "What? You did?" I
Oh
was, I
wow,
was in high school
cool.
at the time, and I'm all starstruck over here, and they really liked it. Too bad they didn't comment on the YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would have
really.
been
That
beautiful.
would have
That would
been
have helped.
great. But
God
that's
forbid.
He still
it.
went YouTube viral, like old school YouTube viral back in the day.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, 64,000 views in a few years. I mean, for me, that was pretty big. But I got a
No,
couple
that's
videos that have like
fantastic, man.
100
Were you
some.
kidding me? I went to art school too. So which one did you go to?
Oh, well, I went to the conventional one, the Art Institute.
Where's that?
Art Institute. Oh, I think there's like the Art Institute of Portland, Seattle.
Oh,
There's
I
like
see. It's like a chain of
yeah,
schools.
well, it
mm,
closed here and in Seattle. I think a lot of them closed down during COVID. I mean,
Right.
then I think it's mainly for like design and fashion. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got to work with real cameras, and they filmed Grimm here and uh, some other TV shows. So like
Yeah.
people that went there could use their equipment and could also be an extra helping out behind the scenes.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Yeah, that was very
mm.
frustrating because I got into California Institute of the Arts, Cal Arts Film School, right?
of
And
course
this
you
was
did
after two
show
tries.
off.
And well, listen, I had such a miserable time there because it was so about cinema as canvas and not storytelling. So,
Oh,
but like you, I got to work with, I mean, Chris Malkevich was our cinematography professor, and I got to work
okay.
with incredible equipment. But I was the only guy showing up in that class if it was like, okay, we're all going to make short films and rotate. One day you're a director, one day you're a cameraman, one day you're. So I was the only one who showed up with actors, with food, with a script,
Oh,
with
you were all
ideas.
legit.
Yeah, and Everyone else was just a flighty disaster. Like one guy dragged us out into the heat with the blistering sun in the parking lot, and he's like, okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna film a bunch of random wheels on cars. What? And I was a cinematographer that day, so I'm sitting here hunched over, sweating my ass off, filming tires. I'm like, do you want me to do anything special with these? No, just shoot the tire. You're killing me. You are the worst. I was only there for couple of years and I didn't even graduate. I was so upset. I went back to theater.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's probably the best move.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? Well, you kind of. I wanted to be an actor for ever since what was it, 97? Because they had the Star Wars re-released in theaters, and I remember that. I was like, man, I really want to make these kind of movies. But after a while, I'm like, it seems like it's going to be a hard gig, and I want to be married and all that. But it seems like you got it to where it's like comfortable, like you can do voice work, this and that, so it's kind of sporadic. You're not gone too long.
Yeah, I mean, I've been acting my whole life, so once I started getting paid for it, that changed everything. And I used to be mostly on camera, you know.
Really?
It wasn't until maybe 20 years ago that I started, you know, getting into video games. I started in video games with voice. And
Dude.
Okay, this is shit I didn't know.
I gotta ask.
Okay, let's start with the first TV show you were on.
Yeah.
Friends.
No, I was on Getting Personal. And I got to work with a guy, my scene partner wound up stabbing his girlfriend.
Oh,
he's now in jail. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
yeah,
it was really weird when all of a sudden he showed up in the news. But I played this total weirdo with a
it was real?
Yeah. It was a sitcom.
Okay.
Yeah, and he really did.
And the stabbing. Yeah.
The stabbing's real, and it was terrible. It was years
that
later.
Was definitely getting personal.
I recognized him in the paper. I'm like, I know that dude. I worked with him. But I played a weirdo with a ventriloquist dummy because, you know, I'm kind of into puppets, and that was my audition. And Vivica Fox was the star of the show, so she was quite lovely and gorgeous and voluptuous and very sweet to me. So
I just saw the poster for it the other day. I was like, wow.
It wasn't she in that movie with Will Smith and not Steve Martin. What's his name? Martin Lawrence.
Oh, Bad Boys?
Yeah, Bad Boys. Wasn't she in the sequel?
I don't know. Was she in that? I don't know if I've seen Bad Boys.
I'm
thinking of Gabby.
You're thinking of something else.
Yeah, never mind. Vivica A. Oh, I know Vivica A. Fox.
You can do
she
it,
was
man.
everywhere in the 90s.
I'm pretty sure she was in Independence Day with Will Smith, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm getting my honeys mixed up over here. I'm glad that I'm not dating any of them.
I think she's a talk show host now. I don't know.
Good. That is so awesome, bro. Damn.
But I got my SAG card on that show. Yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt Anthony real quick. I was doing some research, man, last night, and I saw in your credits, you're talking about video games, that you've got credits as, and please tell me that I'm not getting this wrong, Genome from Shrek Super Slam for the PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I love that game. I thought it was gonna be a Super Smash Bros. Killer, dude. I thought it was gonna put Nintendo Super Smash in the dirt. Oh man, and Genome was one of my favorite characters. You had to work so hard to unlock him because he was special, and man, it was one of my favorites. I was just watching a video last night, and I got a brain blast on that.
Actors that do this work know nothing about this stuff until they find out at Comic-Con or something.
Well, you know, that's fair.
Character?
He's like, you know that game? He's like, what?
I've never played video games before. That's so cool. I'm so glad you liked it.
What
Did you ever play any of the Outlaw?
Oh, I didn't play any of that
Outlaw. I did a bunch of Outlaw games, and those, I guess, were very popular. And I played a ton of characters on that. Outlaw Golf, Outlaw Golf 2, Outlaw Volleyball. Yeah, it was like all these incarcerated maniacs bust out and play sports or something. So did a lot.
I wish that I could go back and like emulate that game or something because like, oh my gosh, I missed out. Yeah.
And then they send you the games, and it's like, oh, this is great, but I don't have a console. I don't play video games. I'm really stupid. So it's like when I used to have a friend who I would just watch him play that one where you're driving around, Grand Theft Auto. I would just sit and watch him. I didn't play. He's like, you want to play? I'm like, no, I was too intimidated.
That was it back when it was still like top down.
I don't even know what that means.
Back
that
in the
mean it was
day,
popular?
Like a
you would
convertible?
view it from the top. No, you would view the game
Oh,
from the
top
top. It was
down.
Oh,
like
like
Oh,
into
no, I
the.
think you were in the car. You were like right in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
I said, hit that guy, hit that guy. He's like, you really want me to hit all these people? Yeah. And I was like, I was having more of a catharsis than he was, and I wasn't even playing.
Beautiful. I remember shoulder jockey on video games, man. I couldn't play Grand Theft Auto when I was a kid. My mom was like, not for it. But I had a friend who had it. And I'd be like, yeah, run him over with the tank, and then he'd activate the flying car cheat, and then he'd turn the back of the tank around, and boom, he'd start flying into the air and access different parts of the map.
It's
Wow,
too
you must
bad
be
you
really
didn't get in. You didn't do any work on Grand Theft Auto or the Red Dead Redemption.
Oh,
Those games are really popular
No,
still.
and they know who the voice actors are. Fans.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool. No, I didn't get in on any of those.
Speaking
How
of
easy?
voice
How do you find work? You got an agent?
I have an agent. So I was on Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness for a few years as
I
Mantis.
watched
So
it.
yeah, you did?
Yes,
Well,
I watched it. I don't care. I'm a grown man. I watched it.
it's a great show. I mean, I watched it, but also because I was like, I can't believe I'm on this thing. So I did that for years, and anytime Seth Rogen wasn't available for Mantis, which was most of the time, except for the
damn.
features, or game, yeah, I would jump in. And I really thought after that, like, I'm working with all the top tier folks. Some of my dearest friends are superstars. I thought, I'm in. This is it. I'm gonna just make cartoons for that. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
That's Hollywood.
I mean, it was like I would kill myself in auditions, and I would ask, "What am I doing wrong?" They're like, "Nothing. It's just you never know. You never know." So this is where anyone out there who wants to get into voiceover, this is the most important thing you must know. It's not just doing funny voices. You got to be a great actor. It's so much technical crap you have to get to know. You have to get to know this thing. I'm pointing at a microphone, and for the audio version. And then also you have to build the relationship. So I have a friend who was the executive producer. So you build the relationships. You send a bottle of wine. You send the thank you note, and then he moves on to another show. And the next thing you know, you don't even have to audition. You're just getting parts sent to you. And that's what happened with Captain Underpants, with my friend Peter Hastings, who helped me out there. So anytime a friend can help put me to work so I can get my SAG insurance is a good thing, especially when you're an old person like me.
So basically, do the best you can and be versatile, and then after that, they'll know your style and personality after that to pass you on to the next thing.
Yeah, and don't be a dick. And when they throw at you, hey, I need you to suddenly play a guy with bat wings sticking out of his head who can't talk because he drools too much. You don't have any time to think. You gotta jump right in and become that guy and not sound like the other two characters you just did in the last scenes. It's crazy. It's very stressful.
It sounds stressful, honestly.
That sounds like anxiety for me. I was like, oh, okay.
Anthony's like, I'd be having a great time. He'd be like, yes, master, brain.
Speaking of Igor, I do like Max's Instagram because I like a lot of dark shit. Old school from 1930s to 1960s dark grim kind. That's Halloween for me. That's what represents Halloween. And you like a lot of that stuff. I see Skull Cups, Addams Family. We were talking about the new Addams Family on Instagram, I think, at one point.
Oh,
that how it was really owed to the comic book version. I do kind of like. I'm kind of interested to see where Wednesday is gonna go. The new
very
series.
intrigued by Wednesday. And I love Louis Guzman. I think he'll be a great Gomez. I was married on Halloween.
I thought it was
married on Halloween.
Fair cover. They do random stuff like that, like nostalgia covers. I was like, wait, this is a thing. And I looked up, I was like, Tim Burton. Okay.
Evidently, Wednesday is kind of all grown up, and she's an investigator in the town where the Adamses live. It's like a crime drama.
Oh, interesting.
That does kind of sound silly, but it looks it does look interesting too. The trailer intrigued me.
Yeah.
So
always intrigued by Burton, whether or not the film reaches me. I think his best film is Ed Wood, but always intrigued by what that do.
I have not seen that. That's got to be on tonight.
Come on, you haven't seen Ed Wood? Both of you have an assignment.
Yep, we had an assignment.
Wait, I'm trying to point.
Max Cook.
Watch Ed Wood.
Watch Ed Wood. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Wait, wasn't that based off? That's real, right? It's based off of the.
It's based off a real director, the so-called worst director of all time. Johnny Depp plays him. And Ed made films in the 50s and early 60s up until the 70s. He directed Plan 9 from Outer Space,
Yeah, that
which is
one.
considered the worst film
Oh
ever made. Yeah.
wow.
And
That bald
Okay.
guy, that bald fat guy, he's iconic.
yeah, Tor Johnson. There was a very
Yeah.
popular mask based off of him. And then Martin Landau plays Bela Lugosi. So if you like the 30s darkness, the 40s darkness, he plays a washed-up Lugosi who Ed Wood, two misfits find each other in a world of shit. Ed Wood befriends Bela because he's a fan, puts him in his movies, and it's beautiful. It's a Valentine to cinema, darkness, misfits, old Hollywood.
Yeah.
You guys will love it. Johnny Depp's
So-
great.
Bela
Sounds
Lugosi
amazing.
started hitting rock bottom later in his career,
Yeah.
like Lon
didn't know that?
Chaney.
He was a opioid addict.
Oh my God! And Lon
Yeah.
Chaney Jr. was a drunk.
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
sad because the last movie Lon Chaney Jr. did was like it was like some cheap '70s Dracula versus Frankenstein, but it looked horrible. I saw it on
Yes.
YouTube, and
Yes.
I'm like,
I know
dang,
that
that's a
film.
sad way to go. But he still put his all into it.
Yes. I think all of them were drunks and dope fiends. All those horror guys were. Maybe not Karloff so much.
Yeah, Karloff seemed like he had a good.
he had his shit together.
I swear I saw him in The Godfather, but that was a different actor that looked just like him. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And I had to do IMDb. I used IMDb for everything the last 12 plus years. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't him? Oh,
Dang
man. What was it?
Awesome.
The Pauly Shore movie, A Jury Duty. There's a guy in that movie that looked like Karloff, and I'm like, he's still alive?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Right? It
Holy
looked
Yeah, I
crap.
don't know his name
almost
though.
looked exact. I was like, dang, Karloff really outlasted the rest of them. But it wasn't
Yeah.
him. But it was
I
a
used to
spitting
love
image
that movie.
almost. I forgot the guy's name. I could search it, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
IMDb.
I know. I don't use Google as much as I do IMDb. That's what I used to find out new movies that are coming out by my favorite act, like Jack Nicholson. What's the next? Oh, Bucket List coming out. What's that about?
Yeah.
I miss Jack Nicholson, by the way.
Oh yeah. Me too, man. He's my favorite. He's why I became an actor.
I saw that
Oh,
video
yeah,
where
that's
you were
because
like,
do
Jack Nicholson,
impersonations.
don't die.
Yeah.
You're like, you're the reason I became a fucking thespian.
Eric, did you
I don't
see
know what
that
he's
video
doing up
Max
there.
did of his early stand-up? He'd put the glasses on. What was it? Upside down.
They look upside down, but they were fun. Yeah, that was my one-man show.
Oh,
And after
beautiful.
that?
And after that, what?
Nothing. You didn't do any more stand-up.
Oh,
No, I did a little stand-up, but stand-up, I don't know. I love the art form, but it's a lot of dedication. I don't like being out that many nights in a week. You got to be out 5-6 nights clubbing, and ugh. My friend Joe does it all the time, and he's always telling me how miserable he is, and I'm like, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Used to think it sounded
Yeah,
like
and
a
I
good
heard it's kind of a
idea.
tough gig. You kind of go. What was it? Because I listened to Fly on the Wall with David Spade and Dana Carvey on their
That's
podcast.
a good show.
And they're talking
Yeah.
about
Nice.
how when they do stand up, it's always like you go blank or something for a sec, or you get nervous, right? When the oh wait, that's SNL. But I think it was the same thing for their stand up too. Like when they first started, it was really nerve wracking. Even
Oh, yeah,
Seinfeld
totally.
messes up sometimes.
Oh yeah.
They don't care because Seinfeld's famous. You
Yeah,
still
right.
watch him even if he's screwing up his gig.
Totally.
So how
Good
do you
question.
feel about reboots, Max? Reboots and sequels.
Ooh. Well, the first thing I think of is Gus Van Sant's Psycho, which was an
Oh, God.
abomination. But
With
now I'm kind of
Anthony?
intrigued. What?
With the you mean the actual legit sequel, like the second one that came out years
No,
later?
you said reboot. So he remade Psycho.
Is
Shot
this
by
from the
shot.
90s or
Yeah,
a
with
TV
Vince
show?
Vaughn.
Oh,
No,
he did it shot for shot.
it was a shot for shot remake with Vince
Like
Vaughn as
Funny
Norman
Games.
Bates. Yes.
But not the German version turned to American. I still liked Funny Games, the American version.
Oh yeah, it's great. Both versions of that are great. But So if you're talking about a foreign film that can be Americanized, I think Let the Right One In became Let Me In Out Here, which both films are just crushingly gorgeous. But like what you're talking about, the Psycho thing, that the experiment, Gus Van Sant called it, with Vince Vaughn. What are you doing? It's so crazy too, because I live right down the hill from Universal, where the Psycho House is. And
Okay.
all of those Universal horror films were shot up there. You know, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy. They were all shot 5 minutes away. So every time I step out on my balcony, I look up at that mountain, the mountain of terror, where all that shit went down. The Psycho House just gives me goose pimples everywhere.
Are we talking about Universal Studios, the backlot
Yeah.
tour area?
Yeah. But
they still
actually
have the backlot tour? I thought they got rid of that.
No, did they? They don't have the tram anymore that goes around at Universal?
They got rid of the King Kong shaking the. They got rid of a lot.
Yeah,
of
I know they got rid of
classic
that.
rides.
No, I think there's still a tour. I don't see why they would cancel that.
I don't know. All I know is it's not the same that you and I, all three of us, grew up going to throughout the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah.
At least we have the memories.
Yeah, that's true. There's
That's
a
what
lot
we
of
talked
memories.
about in our last. What was it? Eric, the last episode we did was about
We
Universal.
were talking about theme parks like Universal and Disney. We were just talking about like the old times, the new times, the good stuff, what we miss.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like how these places have weathered the test of time, but how they've unfortunately been, you know, little bits and pieces of nostalgia have been chipped away from how, you know, we remember from back in the day.
I worked at Epcot as a street performer for a year. I auditioned in Seattle. They hired me, and they relocated me to Orlando. And
Wow.
while it was an incredible job, it was the worst mistake I've ever made, because I was forced to move to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I live in
It reminds me
Orlando.
of Singapore because it's all humid and shit, and you're gonna get
Yeah.
real hot.
Yeah, it was so hot, and you know, I had a contract for a year, and it got to the point where they're like, Max, we think you're great, but we don't know if the comic sensibility really fits with what we're doing here at Epcot. And I agreed profoundly, and I got out
What
of
were
there.
you doing?
Well, I was doing a trunk show, so we rolled out into the World Showcase. Do you guys know the World Showcase at Epcot?
Yeah.
So I was in the.
But fill me in. pretend I don't know.
Around
He's been there.
around there's a lake at Epcot Center, and around the lake
Okay.
there's these different little pavilions representing different countries. And I worked in the UK pavilion, and then I worked in the Canada pavilion. We
knew
did a
it.
trunk show there. Yeah. And then they would set me aside and say, we're going to just kind of throw some solo characters out to you. For example, you're going to be a French-Canadian fur trapper named Simon Le Simon, and we're going to stick you in the Canada pavilion. So they dressed me up like Davy Crockett. They put a black French mustache on my face. I had the worst French accent. And I would go up to people. I'm hunting beaver. Show me your beaver. You can't walk up to women and say, show me your beaver in Epcot. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. They're like, no, you can't do that. Then they made me be Napoleon in France, and I had to walk around in really tight pants with Marie Antoinette on my side. I was dressed up as Napoleon with the slicked over hair and everything. And I had my I had my beanbag in these tight white pants walking up to people while they're eating lunch. How was your lunch, madame? I mean, it just didn't work out.
Oh man!
But I got to see magic behind the scenes. I got to hang out with the characters, and I got to hang out with all the. It was like running away and joining the circus. Oh, you'll love this. The last thing they did, they stuck me in the Norway pavilion during Christmas time, and I was Julenisson, the good Norwegian Noam, and I would tell stories of Christmas. So in 100-degree heat, I had a hot, thick, synthetic beard. They stuck me in a trailer with Chinese acrobats. I mean, amazing people. But it was a small trailer, and there's like 20 of them and one of me, and, you know, they're doing splits and everything right in front of my face. I got
Show me you'll be there.
I saw a lot of beaver that day.
Oh god!
I love when he goes to do the Jack Nicholson, his mouth just comes up and the Nicholson's
There you go.
brilliant.
Eric, I know you had some other questions about his red leaf complex.
Oh.
Well, yes. You know what? Yes. Well, I did want to ask, while you were in Florida, is that when you filmed that freaking channeling Dexter video?
No, that was back at my old apartment building on right across the street. Actually,
It
that's where
worked,
all the
man.
big videos. Yeah, it did work. There were some great palm trees over there, and yeah, that's back when I was paying rent and struggling. With my wife, we were working our asses off, and I'd be home all day making those crazy Sopranos videos, and
You're
and then
freaking
yeah,
over there eating that freaking steak, and you're just like,
yeah, and then I had one week where back then you used to say, okay, a new video every day coming. So I shaved my head skin bald.
I love that one.
Yeah. So I could be Sergeant Dokes and then Uncle Junior in 1 week.
What
The
the
way
fuck
I
you
see
doing,
it, if no one's
motherfucker?
yeah,
What the fuck
the
is
way
this
I
Dexter?
see it, totally. The way I see it, if I'm not gonna, be working, I may as well make content and try to entertain folks as best I'm such a ham bone. I gotta constantly be entertaining people.
Entertained right here, hands up,
Oh,
man.
it's very sweet.
Ooh, but Anthony did. He mentioned the Red Leaf Complex. He got me there.
I was
So
actually wanting to watch it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's still
Oh,
saved
that's okay.
on my
I'm on
phone.
episode 2.
No one watched it. Are you
I'm on
serious?
episode 2. Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow,
mean,
you're on episode 2 already. Wow.
The
Yeah.
first one was pretty weird. Like at first I was just like, who is this male lady? She is so in people's faces, so like just
Wow.
what a little busybody. She's just like, what
I
are you doing?
I did
What's
watch
going
the
on there?
first episode.
Sorting through people's mail while they're still standing there. I was like, what the heck is wrong with this lady? And then the guy goes to go home after work, and the freaking thing in the hallway is just like, I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Wow. I
actually
got to
pretty
tell
cool.
you, no one has made. Here's the problem with Red Leaf. We killed ourselves. My buddy Brett and I wrote it. I directed it. We killed ourselves with that thing for 3 years making it with all our friends, and I really thought it was gonna maybe be good, and I felt I'm proud of it, but we put it on Vimeo, and then lockdown happened. COVID kicked in. Everyone was forced into lockdown. That week we were putting out episode 1. No one's going to watch unknowns on Vimeo in their little horror show. Now's their time to watch everything that they've missed because they're stuck at home. So we really got screwed on that one. But
Yeah.
it was a good education, and I love directing.
What inspired you, you and Brett, to make that project?
We're dear friends. We used to do a lot of plays together. We even did a horror play that he wrote. I wrote Act 1 and he wrote Act 2. And we get together and we watch horror films, and it's so fun. And we have laser pointers, and we're total dorks. But finally, we're like, fuck it, I got this new camera. I was working with a Canon, and I'm like, I got a crane, and I'm like, I was making, Chester Cheetah came along, and that afforded me to like make stuff because you could finally,
Yeah.
I could finally buy equipment versus renting it or whatever. And I said, we've got to put all of our friends in this and really go the distance in this dark, awful building where ominous things are happening. And this is my condo building where we shot it. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So we, that ghoul or demon or whatever you see, that's the 4th floor where I live. So that's like right outside my door. So every time I walk out
wow.
there at night, I see that thing. It's really weird.
So is he like exiting your apartment when you go to do that?
Who?
The I want to say the doctor, like the dude in the scrubs.
Oh yeah. He's exiting my unit. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
No budget. So, but I
No,
fed
no,
everyone
yeah.
every time. Yeah.
That's so good. Did you like
No.
hand make the food, or you just like order pizza?
No, I didn't do that. I didn't go that far. Are you kidding? With actors out here and their vegan diets, I'm not going to be in the same room with pepperoni. So now you're like, all right, I'm looking for vegan on the app. I got to make sure everyone's happy.
You guys want some tofu pad thai? Like,
Yeah.
what's good?
Yeah,
Hey,
you
Anthony's
swing
in the
into
recording
producer
studio.
mode.
Yes,
I-
I
A-card.
had to go.
A-card.
Jack kicked me out because he brought
Hey,
some
that's
ladies
cool.
over, and now I'm here.
Like, we're so professional.
It just means a lot that you guys even looked at one. I mean, it gets crazy. So
I'm gonna finish it.
if there
I'm gonna
are
finish
some
it.
episodes coming up, you won't believe it. And Brett is, he is
Wait, there's a
astounding.
continuation?
There's like 14 episodes, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant there's going to be more coming out.
I wish. Oh.
That's
During
what I thought you
lockdown,
meant.
we wrote something of a sequel. We just never got around. And then we wrote something else, which I shot, just a one shot, probably 20 minutes, which I'm currently editing with him. But as long as I'm working with Brett, always a pleasure. I would consider him like, one of my very best friends. And he loves horror. He's so creative. He can make props. You're going to see all these crazy things. He was playing the surgeon and the ghoul.
That's Brett.
Yeah, that's Brett.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
And,
cool.
Now I have no idea what you guys see. Eric, but I see I need to watch episode 2 and on.
Dude, when I saw the trailer for it on YouTube, I was like, this looks creepy. It's got all that kind of like picture like a music, like the old creepy music boxes. It's got that like clink, 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 clink,
Yeah.
clink,
Yeah,
clink,
yeah.
like sound to the music, and I was like, oh, this is
Cool.
creepy. I was like,
Brett
this is good.
wrote all the music. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brett's
he's a
a
musician.
talented guy.
All I
Wow.
know is I've watched everything on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
That's good enough for me. I mean, that you looked at anything, fellas, just really means a lot.
Dude, your work I didn't realize at the time, but your work means a lot to me, man. I didn't realize like you were doing all that stuff with as Mantis, and like I loved the Kung Fu Panda awesomeness series. Like, did you get to work with Jack Black at all? You ever rub shoulders with that cat?
No, because Mick Wingert was playing Poe at that time. Jack is back to playing Poe, and there's a new show on Netflix where Jack is Poe.
Yeah.
And that's because, again, when lockdown happened, many of your big time Hollywood box office greats were like, you mean I can make cartoons? I can just voice it out of my house? So a lot of the big parts were going to superstars, which was really rough in the voiceover community. That's a rough thing.
I remember when that started, actually, all of a sudden you went from seeing like, like, I mean, it's still known, but like lesser known, I guess, to an extent, names. And then you would start, everything is all of a sudden, it's like Al Pacino. It's like Robert De Niro's voicing an alligator. You've got Beyonce voicing some creature. Like it just gets to this point where I start seeing these like people getting pushed out of work.
I'm an alligator. You hear me? I'm an alligator. You hear what I said? The swamp stinks. Yeah, it was crazy, man. And I would get called back for roles. And I'd be so excited, like 2 callbacks. I'm like, this is probably going to happen. Next thing you know, it's Woody Harrelson. He's going to be playing the character. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Because,
You remind me of there's this guy that was on the Tonight Show that did the skeleton robot voice. RJ.
are you talking about Joshua Thompson? Who was
maybe
on Conan?
he did Cooking with Robert De Niro. He did and he would do George Lucas.
That's Josh Thompson, I think you're talking about.
Yeah, you and your De Niro's. What have you seen that Cooking with De Niro where he's like?
It sounds familiar, but that would have been a while ago, and most likely I don't remember.
It was
where I retain some things.
It would
We've
be
established
great if you two got on and collabed. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really make YouTube videos. I tell you what was really disheartening. So we make Red Leaf, right? And then we're still stuck in lockdown. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll go back to because I rewatched Sopranos again during lockdown. I'm like, maybe I'll go back to Tony and do some. So I don't know if you ever saw Tony's Tavern, but it's Tony Soprano. Yeah.
With a puppet.
With puppets. He owns his own tavern in the in-between, and he talks to puppets, and there's cameos from. I worked so hard on those. And that was where, Max, you're back. You're not dead. You're this. You're that. And I'm like, I'm really enjoying being back on YouTube. My problem was I would write the scripts, shoot the thing. I worked so hard on these. And, for some reason now, you just don't get the numbers. I think the first one has like $3,000, but I'm like, this is a lot of work.
After a certain point, you start seeing it trail off.
Yeah, it's like this is like some are better than others, and it's like, wow, this is no matter what they're saying nice things on the comments were all beautiful and people were so cool, and I felt really revitalized. But then I was just like, yeah, but I'm doing all this and no one's watching.
It really depends on who's looking for that specific thing, or they want you to pay to make ads.
Oh, is that? Oh, see, that's a whole other world. Fascinating.
Ad revenue and stuff.
Yeah, that's why we don't have a lot of subscribers, I think. We get a lot of views sometimes, but I know they're trying to push you to pay for spot like
We ain't paying to promote
advertising your
shit
thing.
around
Yeah,
here.
right.
I'm too
Yeah,
old
no.
school for
Motherfuckers.
that. I just like to put what I got up there, but maybe eventually I might pay once for something
Yeah,
just to see what happens.
just to see what
But
happens.
Yeah.
Is that like
Well,
boost? Like you boost a video and
kind of
you
like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. When you want to boost it, I selected yes on Instagram, but then I saw you have to pay later. I was like, oh, I thought I boosted it for free.
Oh no, buddy. That's how you get that blue
no.
check, son. You gotta
Yeah,
That
pay
blue
for
check.
that boost. Verified, baby.
I saw you
yeah.
could make that blue check mark by going to
Oh,
the
is that
coding.
true?
You can go to the coding, and then you can like it'll show up on your profile, and you can screenshot it and show somebody, but it'll disappear when you refresh the page.
Oh.
So I was
Really?
gonna do that on April Fools. I'm like, hey, I'm official, guy.
Oh, that's
And you're
funny.
like, he only has
That's
so
really
He's
many
like,
people following him. How does some of them do get it instantly? Like if you're Bill Gates or something, they like
Sure,
automatically do it.
wow.
But
oh, they're like, oh, Bill Gates logs in. It's like,
oh, it's
bing.
definitely him. His agent called us. Let's just give him the blue check mark.
No,
Right.
his wife called.
I'm over that stuff.
She said it's fine.
Yeah. Whole new world, man.
We've only
Yeah.
just barely touched on the Chester Cheetah thing, and it's already been an hour. Can we just, for a quick moment, segue into a little bit of
Yeah.
the
How
work
did
you've
you
been doing
do
since
that?
2017?
What's
Yeah,
that?
how did you nail that, dude?
Dangerous.
I auditioned. The audition process was very intense. Um,
Really?
yeah, it was very
I believe it.
intense
It's
and incredible.
dangerously cheesy.
Yeah. Well, the guy before me, and unfortunately, I think he actually passed away.
Was he the
That's
original?
not. No. There's been a few. Joel Murray, Bill Murray's brother, was Chester in the '90s. Chester's changed.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Then there's a couple other dudes, and then there was Adam Leadbeater, and he was Chester from 2009 until 2017. But they they parted ways, so they were looking, and I just jumped, and I it's so much about Chester to me is magical because he's so. I love that I identify with a dude who wears dark sunglasses and has a white goatee. I'm like, that's
yeah.
me. So then I just they kind of wanted to go a little bit off of what he had done, and anyhow, I just got to get in there a bunch of times. Yeah, they kept calling me back, and then next thing you know, I saw a commercial on television, and I'm like, this is incredible, and it's been an extraordinary ride. I love the cheetah.
Absolutely,
So
dude.
how do you keep busy? Like how do you keep a constant flow for your income? Doing are you doing something
Well,
every day or
no, not every day. But I also regularly work for FM radio. I do voices for a show out of San Francisco called Lamont Tonelli, and they pay me. So that's been great. I've been doing that for about almost 20 years.
wow?
Nice.
So it's sad because I always was doing Gary Busey on that show. Well, evidently Busey has just been busted for a sexual offense. So does that mean
Damn.
they're going to take the character out of the rotation? I have no idea. But
Hope not.
Oopsie.
that's been a regular gig, and I have something so amazing coming up. But I'm not allowed to say anything about it. But you'll know, and that I just can't wait for.
Non-disclosure.
Yeah. It's just it's gonna be really good.
Okay, we
And
paused the recording. What are you working on?
I can't. I'm not even on.
Nah, I
Because if I
lied.
tell,
What
what if
You're
it
such a
tells me?
liar. Oh my gosh. Wow.
He'll have to kill us. He'll send something over here.
Yeah, coronavirus
Just
in a
know. All right.
box.
If we're not recording, I will just tell you it is.
No, wait. Whoa. Hold up. Before we go dropping any juicy gems like that, we're going to need you to go ahead and hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell so that you can go ahead and know when the part 2 for this podcast episode drops. Anyways, thanks again for checking out part 1 of our interview with Max Koch. Look out for part 2 coming very soon. Appreciate it. Thank you, folks.